Hey guys, what's up? Let's get it in. How are you? I know y'all thought I wasn't coming. I have a slight I'm not home right now, and so I still need to do this live. So listen, I'm telling y'all, stop the excuses. You can do your live anywhere there's Wi-Fi and you have your computer or phone, and that's what I have. So we doing this. We doing this. Um I am excited to see you guys again today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you don't know who I am, I'm Paris Johnson. I am a mental health advocate. I talk about the conversations from Paris are conversations that are meant to shift the trajectory of your life. I feel like a conversation can literally change your life. And my goal is for something that you hear to affect your mental health, affect your wholeness journey, your identity, and your purpose pursuit. So I really just welcome if you're just coming on for the first time. But if you've been here before, you already know how we do. And so today is Thursday. And so I wanted to go ahead and talk about oh, real quick, while I'm sharing, how about you guys share? Like, let's have a sharing party. Like, I share, you share. Because you just don't know who needs to hear it. And if you guys are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Like, for real, like, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, thumbs up, comment, because I will read the comments and we do interact, because again, this is our show. And share, because again, I know this information is needed, right? So let me finish sharing real quick and we're gonna get right into it. Um, Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I'm on it. All right. Can't leave out my Facebookers. I know it seemed pretty abrupt for me to stop broadcasting on Facebook, but that was not anything personal. It was literally me just I want to do more. And I feel like YouTube is going to be the platform that's going to be able to allow me to. And seeing that everybody can literally get on YouTube, I feel like it's the option. I had a lot of people that say, oh, I don't have Facebook, so I can't get on. So again, I want to make sure that everybody can see it. So I I don't know about y'all, but it is already almost the end of January. Like it's January 27th. Like we're almost done with January. It's like you blink your eyes and we're almost done. Like we just were talking about we're going to the new year and we're almost a month down. Matter of fact, if I look at the date, yeah, this is literally my last live in this month. It's crazy, like crazy. So I'm just like, I really, um, hey, Ro, what's up, girl? I really don't even understand if people kind of comprehend that life is not going to wait for you to figure out what you want to do. It's not going to slow down. It's not going to stop. And that's not me being negative. That's not me badgering you. I'm just giving you a little bit of what I like to call it reality. Like, I really want you to understand that the way life is working, you really need to go ahead and put that work in because you're going to be the same place next year talking about, yeah, this year I'm going to get it together. I want you to get it together. We all got to get it together. We all got stuff we want to do. But from an aspect of you thinking you got time, oh, that you don't. Oh, no, 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 no. That you don't. Time is a commodity. Time is the only commodity, right? And so when you understand how precious it is, you'll respect it more. So that was my purpose of telling you it's the last week in January because it was just New Year's Eve. Like it literally was just New Year's Eve, and now we're about to see February. Like how, where, how did it even happen? So I'm just grateful for every one of you guys, and I I saw. Well, before I say what I saw, I'm gonna tell you guys what my topic is today. Today we're talking about that word, the A word, anxiety. It's the buzzword as of a couple years ago, but it's always been around. Um, Anxiety is nothing new. I talk about this all the time, because it is one of the most common things I think people suffer with, between that and depression. Anxiety is definitely it. And I think the reality of it is the thing about anxiety that's, I think, a little more far reaching, is because if we're honest about it, all of us have anxiety at certain times. It's not necessarily a diagnosis or a disorder. It is, there are extreme cases of it. Remember, I told you guys with everything, there's extremes. And so, people can have, you've heard anxiety attacks, panic attacks. People can have severe anxiety, where and that's when it becomes a mental illness and or disorder, is when it interferes with your daily life. If you are having anxiety that's so extreme that you're not able to leave the house, you're in a meeting and you have to, you step out, you're in a group of people, social anxiety, that's a whole thing. Anxiety around crowds, anxiety of, you guys have heard about the what I want to call it, the paranoia, like, so, like, there people have anxiety about like all different things. We're not going to go into those, but I'm literally talking about anxiety that comes out of nowhere. Like, you're literally doing something and then this sensation comes over you and it overwhelms you. Some of the signals and the signs of anxiety are heart palpitations. I think the first time I had an anxiety attack, I didn't even know what it was because we don't talk about it like that in our community, which is unfortunate. And this is years ago. Nobody really talked about it, or at least I didn't hear it. Now, let me just speak on my own experience. I didn't hear it. It wasn't talked about in my community. It wasn't talked about in my family. And I feel like people had to shame on it if you even say that that's an issue or whatever, you have an issue. But I remember being at school and I remember seeing something, and I remember my heart beating so fast, like extremely fast, that I couldn't catch my breath. And I remember just like, like feeling like a fear come over me. And I didn't even know why. It wasn't a rational thing. And this is the way a lot of people explain how they feel when anxiety comes up. It didn't feel rational. I didn't even understand why. And it was something that consumed me, and actually it was very scary. Didn't know what was going on with me. And I remember I had to like take some deep breaths and calm down just to get myself there. And it was not something that it wasn't a nice experience. And I really was confused by it. To believe that I had a few more of those in my life before I even understood what was happening, right? I just thought it was weird. Didn't know it was anxiety. When I became, I mean, let me be very clear. I probably was only aware of it in the last like 10 years, what it really was. And although I might not suffer from them as often as somebody with severe anxiety, it's still good to understand what signs and symptoms are, and even understand what spectrum you're on. If it's something that's every once in a while. Sometimes anxiety it rises in certain situations. You're in a situation where I'll give you an example. Like maybe you have a test coming up. There are people who have testing anxieties. Literally, like they their hands start sweating, their palms are, they have headaches, they have all these things that are a direct response of the fact that they're going to take a test. Or people have interview anxiety, like, oh, I know something like that happening, where or speaking. You guys have seen people that go up to speak and they have this extreme anxiety about that. And it's instant, right? They could practice, but still this anxiety comes up. But so it's all different types of anxiety. The one I'm talking about today is the one, again, that comes out of nowhere, that you're literally, I've heard people say, I'm driving in my car and just out of nowhere, I literally can't breathe. I literally start panting. My heart is feel like it's beating out of my chest. And it's like, what is that about? I've heard people that've had crying attacks. I know people literally, I've seen people in the middle of anxiety attacks so many times. I know I've had a few myself in the most um, moments. Now, I'll be honest, some of mine that I think about, they were brought on by moments. Like it was a stress induced anxiety attack, right? There was a stress of a situation that was going on that I was not able to mentally or emotionally handle. And it really caused me to go ahead and um, to have this anxiety attack, right? So, what am I talking about today? We talk about anxiety all the time. We talk about ways that you can deal with it. We talk about what anxiety is. Anxiety is just a natural response to danger in our body. So it's not necessarily a horrible thing. We all deal with it. It's actually um, one of those things that help us have a fear response, right? Like a danger response. The way somebody explained it, I thought was really good. And I did a whole series on anxiety. So if you didn't catch that, you want to go back and watch it on the channel. It's a whole series I did about a couple months ago on anxiety. But um, literally, it's not a curse word. It's not a horrible thing to be able to say you have or have had it. It is an actual natural thing that's built into our body. And in small doses at the appropriate time, it is good. Because what happens is it raises the chemicals in our body to alert us that there's something wrong and now action is necessary, right? It reminds you to wait, something's going on. You need to up that heartbeat. You need to up the intensity of what you need to do and respond well, right? Because your life is literally possibly in danger. And I think what happens all the time is, or not all the time, but what happens sometimes is people demonize anxiety per se. A healthy amount of it in a dangerous situation is necessary. What happens is when it's overproduced in your life, when you're having frequent amount of occurrences and it's not in response to stressful and or dangerous situations. That's what I'm talking about today. We also know anxiety is the fear of the future or the fear of the uncertainty of the future, right? So most times it's like, hey, that's why people have anxiety about tests and interviews, is because I don't know what people are going to want from me. I don't know how I'm going to perform here. People have a lot of performance anxiety. That's a huge one. Like I said, you can go down a rabbit hole with all the different anxieties. What I'm talking about today is what happens when you have been dealing with this thing. Maybe you were diagnosed with anxiety or you just know you have it. And some people wear it, like, oh my God, my anxiety, my anxiety. And I understand because now you know what the term is. It becomes something that you're like, at least I'm recognizing what it is. But what happens when you start working on you, meaning you're in therapy or you are talking it out when you have it, you know some of the tools to do the work, when it's about to happen or when it does happen, you know how to calm yourself down. What happens when the anxiety is still there? And that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm seeing all over my timeline about people having anxiety attacks, the anxiety rising, they can't control it, they don't know what to do. And I feel like they feel very defeated. And I feel like there's a moment of fear where I'm never going to get over this. And what's the point of trying? Because I don't think that anxiety is something you can conquer. And I'm here to address that. This will not be a long live today, y'all. For real. Today, this is a hidden. Like I told you, I'm not at home. But I did want to address this. The reality is, hey mom, love you. The reality is, just the other day I had a situation where the stress was extremely high and I had a moment. I had a moment, and if I had to properly categorize it, I would definitely say that I had a miniature anxiety attack, or I would just say I had I don't like to use attack. I like to say I had a small bout of anxiety in the moment that was stress induced, right? That's how I like to say it because I'm always careful with my words. But I acknowledge what it was. And that I understand a little bit because it was the situation that brought it on. But even then, I'm sitting here, I'm a mental health advocate. I'm in school for psychology. I talk about this. I write on this. I'm in the middle of an emotional intelligence course. I help people deal with these things that come on. And yet I'm sitting in the middle of a moment and I am not able to stop it. And I had to sit back and realize what I was expecting, and then try to figure out if it was a failure on my part. And it was a couple different things that came up that reminded me of a few things. Number one, I'm not sure if you guys all know, but therapists and people that are in health care, people, healthcare providers, even doctors, like your regular physical health doctors, they are people. They are people. And even though they have the tools to help you, they are also too prone to get sick. They're also prone to deal with illness and situations. They're not exempt just because they know what to deal with. It comes. Hear me well, y'all, because this is the lesson. Just because you have the tools and you're equipped to handle a situation when it comes, doesn't mean that you're exempt from it coming. Come on now. Now, what a mental health person and advocate is supposed to help you do is to equip you with the tools. So y'all think in therapy, y'all just want to talk and vent it out, and then y'all gonna be okay and feel better. That's not what it's about. You're supposed to get the tools that you need to be able to go forward so that you know what to do and you can recover well. The problem is you're mad and you're upset because you're like, why am I still dealing with it and I'm doing the work? And I'm here to tell you, don't be mad. Don't be upset. You're doing well. But the work will also allow you to have lesser frequencies of the episodes, right? And the intenseness of it should go down. Hear me out. Just because you're in therapy, just because you're doing the work, just because you're using the tools, doesn't mean that it's going to go away. Again, it is built. It's purposely built into you to happen, because it's to alert you of danger. What happens if you didn't have this alert system when something goes wrong? You would be so nonchalant and you would walk into bad situations and not understand what's going on. So it is at a very small level. Like we always talk about things in moderation. Anxiety too in moderation is not a horrible thing. What happens is that when your body does not know how to react to the conditions, because let's be clear, you don't have emotional intelligence, you don't properly know how to guide your thoughts, you don't properly know how to deal with situations, you don't have proper boundaries. When those type of things happen, then you're going to have a higher frequency and a higher what is that word? A higher I'm trying to use the word. I don't know why I can't even think. I want to say strength. That's not the word I'm trying to say, but the intensity, the higher intensity and the higher frequency of these events, because your body was not taught, you were not taught how to deal with these things. When you get the tools, just because you now know what to do with them, don't mean that it won't happen anymore. It just means that when it does happen, that they're going to slow down, because now I'm using my emotional intelligence. I don't react anymore. I am responding, right? We talked about that. We want to respond, not react, right? So now we know that that's what we're going to do. We can start to stop and think about it and then process ourselves. We're using those things in our mental health toolbox to help us do the things we need to do. Then on top of that, you're also being able to say, hey, I'm not having them as much anymore. And then when I do have them, instead of me going from 0 to 100 and don't know how to control myself, can I breathe? Now it's maybe like, okay, I have a moment where I feel my heart rate building up. But now because of my self-awareness, which is part of your emotional intelligence, you're able to pull yourself and say, okay, breathe. This is, and I'm speaking on not y'all, I'm speaking on me. Like the other day, I was just like, oh, I felt it rising. The moment was tense. And see, let me tell you what I'm able to do right now. Y'all know if I go through it, I'm gonna tell y'all. This is one of the things I do when I feel it coming on, because it's a lot of it. I tell people, you need to know when you're in the moment. You need to know what your triggers are. You need to understand when you think you've mastered the moment, you can still have these things. So the reality is, when I physically feel myself getting really, like my chest start hurting, my head start hurting, I start getting warm, my stomach starts hurting. I know all the signs. And then when I just start getting mentally full, I know when I'm overwhelmed, and it's like I take a deep breath, and then and what I know to do, a couple things. I'll just give y'all a couple of clues. I'm not saying it's gonna work for you. I'm just telling you some things I do. One of the things I know is that I'll call somebody that to me has a calm demeanor. Because anybody who has this manic personality, I don't need to call you and be like, what's wrong with you? Or I know who I can call. And it's like, okay, hey, I'm having a whole moment. I say it because I want to acknowledge it. Because when you keep things in the dark, you pretend like it's not happening, you suffer even more. So I acknowledge it's happening. I'm having a moment. And then when I have that moment, now I can say, let me start engaging the tools that I have in my mental health toolbox so I can go ahead and pull this thing down. Because before it would take me all over and I'm trying to come down for a while. So then what I do is I start breathing and I start talking through it. I'm having a moment and they're like, okay, what do you need to do right now? What's the moment about? And I stated what the stress was. And they're like, okay, what can I do to help? And I stated what they could do to help and what they could. And sometimes you're in a moment and nobody can help. Like, let's just be honest. There's nothing anybody else can do, but the support is what you need, right? Sometimes that's it, right? And sometimes, you just have to talk through it. And so sometimes I'm like, it's nothing you can do, but just be here for a second. Because that sometimes just having somebody there that's just present, it will help. And let me just be honest, y'all. I don't talk about a religion a lot, but y'all know I believe in God. And what you believe in is your business. But whatever higher being you believe in, whatever you believe in, I know one thing: I speak to my creator when nobody else is around. When I have a moment where I'm completely like nobody's answering the phone, nobody's here in my house, I'm literally having a whole breakdown, and I can't reach anybody else. Then I know I got to go up. I know what it is. I got to go up there. Okay, that's just it. You remember I tell y'all about wholeness, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, relational. All of that is necessary. So for me, I go up. I know it. I have to literally center myself when I'm having one of those moments. And sometimes it just gets really rough. And so for me, I have to engage all of it. I have to engage emotionally. I have to engage mentally, physically. I start taking deep breaths. I told y'all about the breathing exercises that I do, and it's just real simple. I mean, there's some more complex ones, but for me, one of the best simple ones is about 3 extremely deep breaths where you pull in through your nose, you hold it for a while, you let it roll through your body as long as you can, not to hurt yourself, and then you release it. And by the time you do that, generally speaking, that can help you release a lot of it. Most times you'll hear people when they're in extreme anxiety attacks, they'll let you know, I can't breathe. And I've literally had to remind somebody to breathe. And I'm sure somebody had to remind me before, but I've had to say, hey, you breathe, stop and breathe. You're not breathing. And then believe it or not, y'all, it's a such thing as proper breathing. Most of us don't breathe right. Most of us don't know how to breathe from our diaphragm. It's a whole thing, right? And understanding like that, how to do that, because guess what's happening? Your body is producing these chemicals that's making you in fight or flight. And being in fight or flight at a high level of time, now it starts to messing up other things. And now you're jittery, your hands are sweating, you're sweating, you don't know what to do. It's too much. So again, nothing is wrong with you if you have anxiety from time to time. Start measuring your progress by the fact of, hey, are they lessening? Hey, is the intensity of them coming down? The frequency coming down, the intensity coming down. If that's yes to both of them or one of them, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Being self-aware is necessary. And then if you have the tools and you are using the tools and they're working, kudos. Start measuring how long. I remember I used to get stuck in anxiety attacks for a while. And when I realized the tools, now I had a moment yesterday and it was 3 minutes. Now that's not a brag or nothing. I might have a moment that's longer than that. But some moments I was like, okay, I was able to de-escalate myself. And it's necessary. And so stop beating yourself up. Stop thinking that you're superhuman. Stop thinking that, you're supposed to get something and once it's mastered and it never happen again. No, that's not what it means. You think doctors don't get sick? Y'all think through this corona, you think doctors have been around here and they're not getting sick, nurses are not getting sick. It's not true. This thing is touching everybody. So no matter what you do, you can take everything. You might still get it. Okay? Anxiety is no different. Depression is no different. The difference is I'm bringing awareness and the tools so you know what to do when it comes. That's what awareness does. It lets you know, hey, this is what you do. I'm going to equip you with it. Like, right now, if you get corona, you got to quarantine and, you got to go and, rest. You got to let your body heal up. You got to go ahead and drink fluids. People say, oh, take the elderberry and the turmeric. Oh, you know what to do once you get it, so you can lessen it, but you still have to let it run its course. And that's thing. But other things, you'll know, hey, okay, that's happening. That's what we do. Same thing. So this is why I keep on reiterating about how therapy is a tool in your mental box. Nobody is going to fix you. That's not what it's about. It's about giving you the tools so you can do this journey better. I love the idea of somebody helping me to do things. I love the idea of somebody giving me some advice and some tools to make things easier. Yes, if I can do this, and I could do this by myself, I might not need that tool. But if this tool is going to cut down my time to have time, why wouldn't I use it? Like, sometimes we got to get out of our own mind. We're standing in the way of our own healing. So get out of your head about what's so wrong about therapy, or what's wrong about learning and making yourself more self-aware and educating yourself. Okay. That's what the purpose of these conversations are for. So you can know, listen, some people will never admit out loud that they have anxiety and anxiety attacks, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you, even that person that's watching that won't ever say that they're watching, you're okay if you're working on you. And if you're not working on you, start doing the work. I'm telling you, it will help. They will get better. I guarantee you, but they don't necessarily just stop just because you're doing the work. The difference is, it's the difference between somebody, like, for example, as a horrible comparison I have, but I'm going to make it anyway. You don't have somebody can have an asthma attack and it really like take their breath away and they can even stop breathing. That is extreme, right? But what happens when you get a doctor that's able and a treatment plan that helps you manage your asthma to it's almost non-detectable? And that if you do have a situation, it's something that you have something in, and it's very short and it's not really extreme. It's the difference between life and death. If you never had asthma or never had somebody that did have asthma that you love, you'll understand not being able to breathe is a real thing. Corona, people not being able to breathe, a real thing. You didn't take your breath seriously when you should have. And now you understand, oh wow, it's a blessing to be able to breathe on my own and when I want to and how I need to, right? So on that note, stop beating yourself up. If you're doing the work, you're doing okay. You still are just work, you're a work in progress. You're gonna get it. And if you're not doing the work, that's okay. Start doing the work. Start researching if you ain't ready to go yet. But guess what? Get all the help you can, because it's not cute suffering in silence. It's 2022. If I got anything to do with it, nobody around me, nobody who can reach the sound of my voice will be suffering in silence for things that there's help for. For what? Why would you do that? Why would you suffer for no reason? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. We'll get help in business, entrepreneur stuff. Excuse me. You'll ask for people to get you help with your job. You ask for people to show you how to interview. You ask for help with everything. I know people ask for help that designing a home. They ask for help for shopping. You ask for help for everything else but your mental health. And that's actually one of the greatest things you can have, because baby, if you don't have your mind, what do you have? You can't even enjoy the stuff. You can't enjoy the things. You can't even live peacefully. You don't know what peace is if your mental health is off. I'm just trying to get y'all to live a great life. I'm trying to get y'all to live peacefully, and I'm trying to give y'all to live more abundantly. So see this work. And that's it. I told you I won't be for y'all long. Look at me this time. I'm exactly 30 minutes and 27 seconds. I'm out of here. I love y'all. I was not going to leave y'all hanging, even though I'm not home. Y'all know what I'm going to say. You are enough. I'm going to say it every single time until you start believing it. Every single time. Because guess what? You might not be able to tell yourself yet. You might not program yourself enough to start saying it. And you might not even believe it till you say when you're saying it. But I believe if you keep on proclaiming that thing, you'll start to see the reason why it's important and why it's true. So you are enough, and you're enough to go ahead and start investing in you. I mean, what better investment? If you can't invest in you, how's somebody else going to invest in you? How sway? How am I ask you to invest in you in me, and I don't believe in me? Work on it. Get it together. And I'm here to help you because I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. All right. Love you guys. Y'all already know it's the weekend coming up. It's the freaking weekend. Y'all gonna be so surprised the next time I go live. Don't miss it. You're gonna want to be there. It's gonna be awesome. Until then, have an amazing weekend. You know what I say? Self-care, self-care, self-care. Do something nice for yourself. Take a nice long bath. Read you a good book. Take a few minutes and take a walk. Do whatever you need to get some fresh air, get some sunlight. Be kind to yourself. And until I see y'all again. See you, Ro. Love you. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces. Oh, yeah, and don't forget to go to my website, www.parispjohnson.com. You can still get my shirts, my new shirt, Boundaries. Get you some, all that stuff. It's all up there. Go and do it. And y'all, I got a special surprise for y'all Valentine's Day. I'm dropping something. So I'm about to do a countdown. You don't want to miss it. Bye.